on the front. That's rather sweet, to be honest. Are we going to have a chat with him? How's your German?
Oh, well, possibly not as good as yours.
That's good, yeah. He's just been showing what the Derny can do. To be honest, I've never seen the Derny go quite so fast without having a few laps of build-up. But anyway, so Peter Maline is with his hybrid Derny. I guess you call that a hernia. A bit old school when it comes to Dernies. There's a Derny, an Ernie is an electric Derny, and a hybrid surely has got to be a hernia.
Oh, dear.
Possibly not. Here are the grumpy crew, because this is about running off for position only, 7th through to 12th. Riders who would have hoped to have been in the final, bidding for a World Championship title.
I know, the field here, we've got defending champion Matthias Buchli not racing for the gold. We've got Jeffrey Hoogland, who we know is in incredible form, but I have to say it almost looked like the Dutch got their tactics a bit wrong in the previous round. We've got the Olympic champion Jason Kenny also in this race, so cruelly just missed out on the previous ride, unfortunately. We've also got Nita from Japan, Vigier and Halal of France. So like you say, six incredibly strong names that you really would expect to be a final situation.
Could have been the final.
Could have been.
But they are running for 7th at best. Well, you've got to clear your mind and think of it as a final in itself, because it all counts, doesn't it? In terms of points gained, Olympic qualification, all that. You'll be seeing all of these riders. Here's Peter Maline looking, he's gone for a stance, he's gone for a pose. He knows the camera's there. He's looking good. Getting frowns from Joe. Meanwhile, I know there's disappointment, but you have to clear your mind and get on with it, don't you?
You do. So we talked a bit about Olympic qualification points, but also the chance to race another keirin, among completely world-class competition, the Olympic champion, the outgoing world champion. So it's still a race in itself. Still a little bit of bragging rights and chance to try tactics as well, I guess.
Peter Maline about to fire up the silent hybrid Derny. Matty Buckley determined to have his peppermint laser lid on display, just to differentiate himself from this man, Jeffrey Hoogland. They'll want bragging rights amongst themselves, I guess, but slightly diminished here, because it's only for finishing positions 7th through to 12th. Amazing some of the tactical shenanigans that went on out there. Matty Buckley was locked in, wasn't he? Nowhere to go. Lots of shoulders involved, and he lost that battle.
Yes, so yeah, he looked like he was very much boxed in his semi-final to get here, so it didn't quite, it looked like he had the gas, but he couldn't quite get out. And similarly, Jason Kenny looked quite boxed in his round as well, and he very nearly got round but just missed out. And Hoogland as well, like I mentioned, another one of the Dutch riders who you'd expect to probably be in that final, but again missing out too far back when they were all taken by surprise in that round. So yes, huge names here. Promises to be a really good race, whether it's for a gold medal or not.
Well, let's hope so, and let's hope that they don't just seed it out of grumpiness. Peter Maline comes through. As you quite rightly point out, Joe, it's about measuring yourself against great names, and this is your last chance really before the Olympics to do that.
It is, so there's not many opportunities to race now before the Olympics, if any, definitely not at a sort of championship event. So yeah, last real chance for a keirin bike race.
Hoogland at the back at the moment for the Netherlands. That's Matty Buckley with the minty helmet. Just in front of them, the red of Yudai Nita of Japan, who has seen his teammate and close friend Wakimoto through to run off for a gold medal and of course a world championship title. We have Jason Kenny embedded here, and we know his Olympic credentials, and two from France with Sébastien Vigier and indeed Ryan Halal, just on the back of the hybrid Derny of Peter Maline. So take your pick really. it's hard to judge because you wonder about motivation. They need to sort of clear their mind and think of it as yet more prep for indeed the Olympics which is to come. It looks like Maddie Buckley is, I'm wondering if there's going to be any leading out going on here. But at the moment, France setting the pace, but here come the Netherlands, and Buckley comes through. And indeed, it's Houland on his wheel at the moment, and I think Buckley may well be doing a slingshot. Jason Kenny looks over his shoulder and sees that it's Buckley right there. Big pickup right now as Kenny goes up and over the top of Halal it is for France. Vigier with the black helmet of that pairing. Here's Nita, and we've got a man down. It's Buckley that hits the deck hard. Not what he wants in this position as well. Houland comes up over the top of Nita. That's Kenny as well, just battling on the inside. Kenny holding it to the line. Does he? No. There it is. Punching the air goes Houland, Kenny and Nita. Halal, Vigier wrapping that up. But I'm afraid not a pleasant evening for Matty Buckley, who hits the deck. It had a real feel of that 7th place battle, didn't it, about it? No, not overcommitment from anyone, it seemed, even those who were running for the line in the end. I just hope that Matty Buckley's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he probably came into this race with a point to prove, having just missed out in the semi-finals to book himself a place in the final and obviously defend his title. And his teammate there winning this round for 7th place, but it would be, you know, obviously really hoping Matthias Buckley's okay though. He is sat up, which is good to see.
He is. Well, a little bit of track rash. That'll be sore for a couple of days. You have to get used to that as a trackie, don't you?
Yeah, so you can get some splinters as well, so that can be quite painful. But yeah, I don't know how much more racing he's got this week. I don't know whether he'll be racing the sprint or the keirin, but that could be him finished.
Let's have a look at it. This is just going to see the crash right now. Shoulder with Nita. Well, he didn't want to get boxed in again. There it is. Well, I don't think we're owed any relegation there, but you can see how quickly the skin suit is stripped from the body once it hits the friction of the track. Disappears very, very quickly, doesn't it? This is your finale. I don't think Nita was overly to blame, though. If anything, I think it was Buckley that was hanging the elbow over his to prevent him coming through.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. They were very, very tight together there. Jason Kenny led it out, getting himself in a good position, but yeah, camera's focusing on Nita at the moment because it was the clash between the two of them. But unfortunately, these things do happen. You never ever like to see them, though.
No. Well, that's a good sight. Matty Buckley back on his bike, and indeed with the wherewithal to wait for the crowd, just going to ride out the stiffness, want to get back on it and almost warm down, didn't he?
Yeah, so really nice to have the applause from the crowd there to see him back up and back on his bike. Nice to know that he's not too injured, because in a keirin especially, these crashes can be really bad. So it's great to see him. He's back on the bike now. He'll just come over the line and have a bit of cheer from the crowd, which is really nice to see. Yeah,
he's thrown a whitey, as it were. He's gone very pallor after the shock of that, but he's picked himself up. He'll dust himself down and of course start all over again when we get to the Olympics. Keirin finals, the run for 7th to 12th looks like this. So, the run for the title, here it is. Jack Carlin's here, stows Stefan Bottiger of Germany. Wakimoto, who dominated the field in his semi-final to go through very strongly. He'll be in the red of Japan. Sergei Ponomoroyov of Kazakhstan also here. He was in that early move by Wakimoto. We've got A Wang of Malaysia and Liv Raisin as well. Oh, why don't they just pick up cards? I used to like the cards. Why does it always have to be a laptop?
Technology, yeah, and it's who's got gloves so that can work on the touch screen as well.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, you can pick a card up with a glove.
You can.
So, here is Kazakhstan's Sergey Ponomaryov. There is Wakimoto. It looks like he's going to go and do a one-lap circulation. In fact, they all are not quite ready, only 4 on their marks, and we're still waiting for Jack Carlin to come to the track, so they sent them round again.
Yeah, so a little bit of wait, but not too much delay. Here is the man that I think a lot of people will be really interested in watching him race, or Wang here for Malaysia.
When he became world champion, even those who'd lost to him were so pleased for him.
Yes.
It was just outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's a real testament, I think, to a rider that has rivals that are also his friends.
Yes.
You know, he's someone that has been competing for many years, always been there or thereabouts, but that was his first world title. It was Hong Kong 2017, and everyone was just genuinely delighted for him. And I think that's really nice to see in the world of elite sport, to see, you know, your rivals celebrating you, basically.
Well, he'd come back, we remind you, from having his calf speared on the track in Manchester by the biggest splinter I've seen go through any human being. It was hanging there, removed in Manchester, and indeed he came back not only to full recovery, but went on to, of course, as Joe said, win the world title in Hong Kong. Let's see how he goes here. It'd be amazing if he doubles up. Albeit a couple of years later, 3. So they're back and rolling. It seems that I'm not sure whether it was a technical issue that held them up. This is Nita cooling down, by the way. I'm not sure whether it's a technical issue for any of the riders out there, but Jack Carlin not seen on the track. Everyone else was. So we wait.
Oh, relegation.
Oh, I think that's unfortunate. Let's have a look. Now watch the fold over arm. Watch Buckley here. Now it's because Nita's coming down the track. Here's your fold over. I can see why. He changed position, and essentially Buckley was, I think, steadying himself rather than anything else.
I don't think Buckley deviated from his line at all there.
No, exactly. Oh, it's a shame, but it is, as we say, only for minor positions, but Nita won't be happy about that either. And doesn't want the cameras around him, you can understand.
No, yes, the cameras do get you at your worst moments, unfortunately. Again, part of being an athlete. And here we've got Matthias Buckley as well, who just crashed, who was the victim of that.
But as we said, that race was for position only. The man sitting behind Buckley, who took the tumble, indeed, Jeffrey Hoolan, finishing 7th in this competition. So now we've got a rainbow jersey up for grabs, a gold medal, of course, a chance to be world champion. And after the stalled start, not quite sure, I can only think it must have been a technical issue, because GB team are rather well drilled and then not usually late to their marks. Everyone else has gone round. Hello. We've got duct tape because the zip failed.
Ah, that
well,
is...
There we are. That's
not what you want for a bike race.
what it was. Stefan Bottiger, no spare skin suit that fitted, so they put some duct tape straight down his back. He's got a black stripe. I wonder if they'll adopt it if he wins. Well, we were wondering what the technical issue was, and it turned out the delay was caused by Stefan Bottiger. Looking at him right now, and he has Schwarzen tape all the way down his back because his zip bust, and he didn't want to change suits, or maybe they didn't have a spare one, and so they put a dirty great piece of black duct tape down his back. Ponomaryov of Kazakhstan, carrying the hopes of the Netherlands after one tumbled and the other finished 7th, is Harry Levrazen. Here is Jack Carlin. I thought it was Jack that was late, but it wasn't. It was Stefan Bottiger. Meanwhile, here is Yuta Wakimoto, keirin specialist. Didn't do any of the World Cups, but is here to do some damage and snatch the world title. And here is Awang. Well, it says, don't look at me, look up there. Well, we'll be looking at him, and so will everybody else, potentially. Let's wait and see. Peter Berline brings around the Canary Derny. Here it is. And we are ready. Keirin final here at the World Championships in Berlin. And time to get out of the saddle, and it's A. Wang, former world champion, who just sits on the back wheel of Peter Berline's Derny for now. Everyone else just talking to themselves. Jack Carlin muttering some kind of oath. And there he is, looks like he's chewing gum. How cool is that? Probably dangerous, kids, don't do that. If he is. I think he's still muttering. And the big black stripe, lucky stripe maybe, for Stefan Bottiger at the back after a zip failure, held us up. It's impossible to call this.
Yes, it is. So we've got Stefan Bottiger got the bronze medal last year. So he's the only rider in this field that was a medalist from last year's World Championships. I'm really intrigued to see what Jack Carlin can do. Definitely in very good form, which we saw in the team sprint. New national record for the British guys yesterday. And obviously Harry Levraisen as well, world champion yesterday in the team sprint. So clearly in good form. But as we said, the crowd favourite is a Wang. So let's see what he can do.
Peter Berline escapes as and here coming up and over the top with a little bit of cheekiness here from A. Wang. There we are, just saying, you want a piece of this? You want a piece of me? Well, you're going to have to work for it. And he did so. Bottiger is that sits in front. Here comes Levraisen, high and wide and handsome above the blue line, dragging in as well as part of the fun. Jack Carlin, who changes pace. Jack Carlin going backwards right now as Wakimoto sits on the back wheel of Harry Levraisen. Here's A. Wang as well in third place. It looks to be between these three unless Jack Carlin can get back on in level terms. It doesn't look like it. Levraisen has got the power, and is it now? Can he hold it as the rest charge into him? He does. Levraisen world champion, Wakimoto silver medal. A. Wang picks up a bronze. Jack Carlin finishing in fourth place ahead of Bottiger, and indeed Kazakhstan Ponomarev. He loved that. That was a display of power, carrying the form from yesterday.
That was a fantastic win there by Levraisen from Netherlands, especially after the disappointment of seeing his teammate crash in the previous round and two of them missing out in the final, when we thought we could have perhaps seen three Dutch riders here. But he rode that well and he held everyone else off. And Wang was coming fast around the outside, as was Wakimoto, but bronze medal for Wang, silver for Wakimoto of Japan, and gold medal and rainbow jersey to go to that guy.
That was well won. We said it was a difficult one to call, but Harry Levraisen had no doubt there, did he? Well, three pulled away. Jack Carlin just disengaged with the power of Levraisen and followed in by Wakimoto. Didn't make it easy for anybody out there. Sorry, A. Wang, I should say, was a bit of cheekiness about him when Stefan Bottiger came through. But in the end, the game was played beautifully by the Netherlands. And here is our world champion. You know, being follically challenged, as I am, I asked one of the Netherlands for team for one of their hats, and I wore it with pride, I must admit, for about 10 minutes when somebody asked me what I was selling. I don't know. Anyway, trilbies, you have to have a certain style. They don't suit me, but anyway, there we go. This man is going to look good in rainbow stripes in every keirin he takes part in this next season, not the Olympics, of course.
Yeah, well, next year and a half,
yes,
because next year World Championships are going to be held in October rather than February, exactly. March sort of time. So yeah, now is a good time to win a world title.
It certainly
keep
is.
That a little bit longer.
I'm not sure whether I agree with what they've done with moving the track system to abut against the road. I think it's a shame, really, that we're losing the chance to see some of the great road stars on the track. But anyway, that's the decision by the UCI. We'll have to stick with it and see how it goes. Congratulations, Harry. Good job. Harry Livrason is a world champion, beating Wakimoto and Awang. How international does that top 6 look?